Shite. Just dropped all my cups.
Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, and thank you for tuning back into St. Andrew TV, a cure for your Monday blues. I, as always, am your host, Andrew, and today we are going to do something a little bit different. You've probably seen the memes floating around of Steal His Fit, and it gave me an idea because I've gotten a lot of comments asking what I wear to record these videos. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go through my outfit, and I'm going to take you piece by piece and describe to you what it is and give you a little bit of history about each item of clothing. So let's check it out.
No one on the corner has swagger like us. Hit me on my burner prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already gonna hell, just pumping that gas. All I wanna do is ching and take your money. All I wanna do is ching and take your money.
So how we are going to do this is we're going to start top and then we're going to end all the way down to our boots. So the first thing we're going to discuss is the hat here. This is just a run-of-the-mill Western style hat. It's got a 4.5-inch crown with a 4-inch brim with a sweet binded edge and a black grosgrain ribbon. This was a common thing on the frontier. The wide brim protected you from sun. It could also, in times of need, be used as a bucket for water. And this was a pretty common style because there wasn't a lot of milliner work that went into a hat such as this. You've seen all my videos. I usually don the telescopic crown with the flat brim. Hats were just as much of a tool as they were a fashion statement. So let's move on to the coat. Now this is a sack coat, and this is actually a pretty good representation of a period correct sack coat as well, because as you can see, when I button this up, it buttons up very close to the neck. Sack coats nowadays don't do that as much. So this is a pretty good recreation of a sack coat from the Victorian era. This was a formal piece, and most people only could afford one coat, such as like ranchers or cowboys, frontiersmen. They could only afford one blazer coat or sack coat, and they would just wear it in any occasion. Traditionally, sack coats are made of wool, but means I live in a pretty humid part of Ohio near the Great Lakes. Mine is made out of linen, so if it is chilly, I don't overcorrect and wear a big wool coat. So next is the vest. I'm gonna actually lose this coat so you can see the vest better. So this is a vest or waistcoat. Another staple of Victorian era fashion was this piece. Mine is made out of canvas, which is a very dense cotton. And the closest material I could find from that era is called cotton duck, which is very similar to canvas. An advantageous part about vest and why a lot of people donned vest in this time were the pockets. You could have up to 4 of these things, and it was very advantageous on horseback because you weren't probably reaching in to your pockets on your trousers, so you could have something much more accessible at the front of your torso. And also trousers from that era only had these 2 pockets and then probably 1 back pocket as well. Now, some of these were built for practicality, which if a frontiersman was wearing a vest, it was probably for pockets and other things of that nature. Now, in the formal setting, vests were also very popular. Now mine is a burgundy vest, and I don't know why you couldn't be a frontiersman and don the color burgundy, but you were more looking for the pretty colors in a formal setting. This is also double-breasted and has a lapel. And mine is also lined, so if I flip this up, it's just lined with another canvas piece that's dark, but it's just another shade of material to add to the formality of it. So the next is a shirt, and you can see right here, this is a collarless shirt. However, this is not a pull-over shirt because my buttons, if I lift this up, go all the way down to the bottom of the shirt, which is called a button-up, and another common shirt for the time was the pullover, where the button stopped about halfway down and you'd actually have to pull it over your head to wear it. Shirts of this time were made of various materials, but this one I'm wearing is cotton. Like I said, I do live in a pretty humid part of Ohio. So as you can see, my shirt actually has a different material on the chest plate and the collar than it does on the sleeves and the ribs in the back of the shirt. And this is what we call a bosom shirt. Now everybody laughed because a grown man just said bosom. And now a bosom shirt is exactly that. You have higher quality materials on the collar and the chest plate, and then the cheaper materials on the outside. Kind of a poor man's rich man look, so to speak, because your more wealthy material would be popping through your vest like so, and up through your collar, where you'd probably have a tie or another neck piece to show your class. Next thing we're going to look at are the matching pair of trousers that I have for my vest. Trousers at this time were held up with suspenders. Here are my elastic suspenders, which are historically accurate, for elastic was invented in the 1820s. And they are held down with a piece of leather hooking onto a button. Clip-ons were not around then, so it would not be historically accurate to have clip-on suspenders. That is a cinch, and you could also see one on the back of my vest as well. That is to tighten or loosen your article of clothing according to how you feel. A lot of cowboys use this method because suspenders could get in the way and you could get tangled and whatnot, and that gave you an alternative method to keep your pants up and also keep the practicality of your day's work. Also, you could probably see if I pull my vest up that these also have a fishtail. Those are fishtail trousers, very common in the Victorian era. Belts did exist at that time, but belt loops weren't very common. Belt loops weren't added to everyday pants until around the 1920s. However, belt loops did exist in the form of, like, you can look back on old-timey baseball photos in like the 1850s or so, and they actually had belt loops, but belt loops were not a common everyday citizen look. The final thing we will be going over are boots. There are my boots. Boots were very, very common on the frontier because they provided protection in many different ways. The high shaft would prevent water or mud from going inside of your boot, and also gave protection from snakes. If anybody knows about snakes, a majority of snake bites happen below the knee. So that thick piece of leather you were wearing over your shin, ankle, and foot would give a little bit of defense to the fangs who were trying to make you past tense a little earlier than you initially thought. Mine are round toe and have a 16-inch stem or shaft, so they're pretty tall. I think they are 1.5-inch heels, which are good because if you feed your foot into stirrups, it stopped them from going all the way through the stirrups, and you are now at the mercy of your horse, I suppose. And then obviously it has the spur ridge on the back. Now, historically accurate boots from this time had square or round toes and usually had pretty tall stems. Pointed toes didn't really come around until I think the 1940s. I guess the practicality of pointed toes is it slid in and out of the stirrup easier without any more friction than needed to be, but a lot of people debate that. But just to stay safe, round or square toe boots were historically accurate for the Victorian era. And I think that's going to wrap things up today because I think I went over everything that I'm wearing. At least I think so. Let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of video of me discussing my wardrobe and what I can wear on a day-to-day basis. I have a lot of things. I am a man who loves fashion, especially from the Victorian era. So it makes it easy for me. All I have to do is get dressed and tell you a little bit about what I'm wearing. Also, I thought it would be fun to rate the fit, rate my wardrobe for today. So I got the maroon vest and trousers with the black pants, black hat, and then I got my gray and black sack coat. So let me know if this is a good look, so to speak. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Instagram page named Old West Daily. They do Wild West content. They will show you a picture and an excerpt of what the picture is and give you a little bit of a history lesson. He reached out to me when he did the death of Wild Bill on August 2nd. I know, These are pre-recorded, so my bad. And he actually sent a lot of people over to my YouTube channel when I spoke about the gunfight between Wild Bill and Davis Tutt. He's a good guy, so I suggest you go over there for your daily dose of Wild West contents. They're well-researched, they're very entertaining, and some stuff I hadn't even heard about. So go give Old West Daily on Instagram a follow. Great page. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, but if you've come across this video and you've yet to hit that subscribe button, think about doing so, because you're a daisy if you do.